Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to have a bit of a conversation. And this conversation is going to entail what I call perhaps one of the most elitist and one of the most disillusioned and one of the most delusional communities I've ever seen. And that community is called the Arknight elitist community. And I would consider Tobero as one of those individuals who is kind of like one of the ringleaders of this very odd sect of individuals. If you want some background on this guy, basically he has like a fetish for basically defining the best way to play the game. And if you don't play the game in the way that he has indicated, then there's something deeply wrong going on. Just for some context of what I mean by that, you just have to take a look at this video over here, where what he does is he doesn't like how certain people use a character and uses an Arknight character in a co-op mode. And so he picks a teammate in the co-op mode that deals damage to their own teammates, friendly fire, and then will kill his teammate's character in co-op because he doesn't like that they're using that specific character. And bro just like uploads entire videos. Like I think he uploaded like a music video about how he's doing that exact same thing. And I'm just gonna be real. What a fucking loser. And so this loser has gone ahead and decided to upload a video about how Hypergriff has no spine, because the Arknights Enfield developers have decided to make changes to make the game better. But they're not the changes that he specifically wanted. And so because of that, remember, this is the guy that griefs his teammates in co-op. Let's see what he has to say regarding the matter. Because, like I've said, ladies and gentlemen, the Arknight elitist community is a niche one, but it's actually a relatively vocal one. And they'll watch the shit out of these videos, and they'll naturally, right, agree with people that are trying to, let's just be honest here, kill the fucking Enfield game. So let's go ahead. Let's see what he has to share. It took me a while to actually get ready for this video. I actually spent like 30 seconds laughing just looking at the first frame of it. Hopefully I can keep it together for the next 8 minutes.
Did you know that nothing can ever be bad, ever? Yes, that's right. If you like something, every single decision made by the people that made it must therefore be good. Integrity is elitist, actually. Fascinating.
What the fuck is he even saying?
Anyway, I just got done watching the special program for Enfield's Beta Test 2 with a lot of new information and gameplay and a new trailer and lots of hype. I am very excited for the beta. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the stream. I love the new trailer. The new environments look absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to explore them. I love most of the new characters, save for whatever the fuck this is. I'm killing myself. Pogranichnik, I think that's how you say that, or also known as Helga. It looks extremely fun, and he's easily the character that I'm most excited for. Definitely getting him no matter what. The updates to the Dejang.
Okay, how do these devs have no spine?
Look excellent. I am extremely excited by the notion of building structures to help other players. The single most obvious inspiration from Death Stranding they've taken so far, my favorite game of all time. And I'm very excited to get my hands on the new and improved combat. Yes, you heard me. I think the combat looks good. No, I'm not going to crash out about the dodge, because I don't give a shit about the dodge anymore, and...
So, this guy is basically known for, and let me just provide some context for you. Let's just take a look at some of the prior videos that have been made regarding the dodge. The death knell of Gacha games. You are the problem with Arknights, Enfield's dodge. Bro made entire 23-minute, 30-minute videos talking about how the dodge feature, being too action-oriented in what clearly is an action RPG game, was one of the worst things that they could have added. And when these devs just decided to make their dodge system actually feel good, well, let's just be real here. He responded with, unfortunately, devs listened. Again, painting this decision that makes the game better and feel better to play as bad. And now he's just decided, yeah, I don't care about the dodge anymore. All right, bro. Make up your fucking mind at this point. At least have, like, if you're going to talk about the integrity of developers at the start of the video, how about you have some fucking integrity for the take that you have been doom posting for the past 7 fucking months. 7 months was when the doom posting for the dodge system started. Maybe some recognition of that.
If you still do, then you shortly won't. My only hope is that it doesn't make defenders pointless, but I think Hypergriff is more than capable of making sure that would be the case. The overwhelming majority of this livestream has me very excited to finally get my hands on this game again, whenever that may be. But you, my dear viewer, the astute observer of exceptional wit and indubitable charm, are not here to listen to me sing its praises, or talk about the things I like about the game, even if the positives constitute the vast majority of my opinion on it. No, you are here because I have some concerns I wish to talk about. And apparently, talking about your concerns is crashing out.
No, it's because your concerns are so dog shit that you've actually become known as the individual where if the developer does the exact opposite of what you're suggesting, the game will become better. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, I think literally Hypergriff has this guy's videos on speed dial, and they're just like, whatever he suggested, do the exact opposite of that. And that will make the game better.
Being critical of something you like is doomposting, and wanting games to be unique and interesting is elitist. Absolutely nothing I say or do short of deleting my channel and killing myself will be good enough for people who think like that.
Okay, Miskiff, relax there for a fucking second, buddy. What is this, a fucking pity party? Oh no, people thought my takes were dog shit. I better go end it all right. Just shut the fuck up.
So I don't give a fuck anymore. Without further ado, what's up guys? Crash out doomposting elitist here. Let's talk about Gacha.
I've never seen somebody be like this, like, just, like, self-apologetic. Like, bro, like, is trying to farm sympathy points so badly. And it's just like, brother, just look at your prior videos on the topic. And also look at the fact that you're just advertising the fact that you team kill your teammates and cope. I'm sorry. It's just, this guy is just, this guy is a character. This guy's a character. And I hope you realize he is like one of the star representatives of the Arknights community.
Gacha and blueprints. Starting with Gacha. They announced there will be 3 banners: New Horizons, Basic, and Chartered. Pulls for New Horizons are acquired through main story missions and will guarantee a 6-star upon completion. Basic and Chartered both guarantee a 6-star within 80 pulls. Chartered is the big one, which will feature new operators as they are released, and has a 120 pull guarantee to get the featured rate-up operator.
You can also lose 50-50 an infinite number of times in a row. Just like Stellasora. Oh, and everyone knows how much shit people are talking about Stellasora's implementation of that mechanic, but let me just actually show you guys something a little bit funny from my channel. Ah, this was a good one. The worst gacha in gacha gaming. I uploaded this video over here 9 months ago, talking about how the design of Arknights Enfield, with the ability to infinitely lose 50-50s and losing your pity if you don't reach the 120 mark, was fucking bad. And guess what happened? This shit got mass downvoted by the retards in the elitist part of the Arknights community. Yes, because I dared to say that their system, which was outdated as fuck, and which was proven by the number of people talking shit about the fucking release of Stellasora, oh, this one got mass downvoted. Oh, but it turns out I was right about this one too. Anyways, that was just some additional context that I wanted to provide. I wonder what he has to say on the matter.
What's new, though, is that we now know the gacha will not work the same way it does in Arknights. Instead of a character being added to the standard pool after their rate-up banner ends, they will instead be included in the pool for 2 more banners for a total of 3, and then will be removed from the pool of available operators. That's
You know what? That's something that I didn't catch. Maybe he's onto something here. Maybe he's onto something here.
right. All characters are now limited. They describe this as the operator temporarily leaving the pool, because according to them, they plan reruns for later. So we can plan our pulls at our own pace, so there's no need to worry about missing your favorites.
Okay, so I think part of this is them deciding that they want to have a different monetization system than the regular Arknights. And there's part of this that I can understand. At least in my opinion, when you start getting into higher budget games, think about, I know Genshin Impact is going to be an odd one to put into there, but you'll understand what I'm talking about. When you get into higher budget games like Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, and Wuthering Waves, there's clearly a lot more work put into the design of certain units than there is in more 2D-oriented titles like Chaos Zero Nightmare, Epic 7, blah, 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 so on and so on. Even the original Arknights themselves, right? It's a lot easier to make a regular Arknights character than it is to make an Enfield Arknights character. And so, naturally, I think a part of it is trying to add higher value to the units that you're putting way more work into development-wise. And, you know, making sure that there's a bit more of like an attractive draw towards the newer releases that are coming out by making them limited units. That's the take that I have. And when I see the graphical fidelity that's included in Arknights Enfield, and I see the high quality of the models, and I see that the models and stuff are being used actively across the gameplay, then it becomes less of like okay, this is like something that's going to ruin the game. But of course, right, it is something where, well, let's just be entirely honest here. Games where limited characters enter the standard pool, that can end up being a good and a bad thing. And so hopefully the take that he has on his end isn't that simply having limited units is going to make the game dog shit. But let's go ahead and see what he has to share regarding the matter.
If they actually do rerun operators frequently enough, the fact that they are limited is not an issue. But we have no way of knowing what later means until at least several months into the game's release. Will it be a few months? A year? A few years? Will reruns for popular characters be deliberately withheld until they need a nice little cash injection?
Wait, this is the craziest Doom posting I've ever seen. Did he just suggest that because there's a rerun system, the system might be bad because they might hold off on reruns for an entire year for a unit, when like all you could do is just wait and see how long it takes first? Like, this is before the release of the game, and he's already talking about how the reruns could just be the worst thing ever because they could just not rerun the unit for like several months or years. I feel like at this point you're just like fishing for reasons to be upset.
Will all operators eventually be added to the standard pool? We don't know. But to then hear this,
because you gotta wait and see what the rerun schedule for the characters is first to be, you know, I guess truly certain about how bad it is.
Bullshit line. Don't worry about missing your favorites. You already have a perfectly functional gacha system in Arknights. There is absolutely no reason to introduce FOMO into that system that isn't completely and utterly cynical. Announcing that basically every character will be limited and then saying, oh no, don't worry, there'll be reruns later, that's not comforting, that's sinister. But my main concern with...
I'm gonna need some help from chat for this one. When an Arknights Enfield character, or sorry, a regular Arknights character enters the standard pool, how do you get them? How do you get an Arknights character after they enter the standard pool? Do you just have to randomly pull on the standard banner and then hope you get one out of like the 70 characters that are in there? And that's the only way for them to... So you have like a 1 in 50 chance. Because naturally, when a character's in the standard pool, you can't target them because they won't have like a banner specifically for them. So when a limited character enters the standard pool, you just have to pray that you win the 1 out of 70. That's one of the reasons for why I say having limited characters is like good, because then you can like actually decide when you want to pull a fucking unit. Versus if every character goes into the standard pool, then like you just pray that you win the 1 out of 70 or the 1 out of 50 or the 1 out of 25, however many 5-star, 6-star characters there are in the standard pool. That's not that good if you want that's not that good if you want the character.
Characters now being limited is the possibility that character potentials will now make a massive difference is up in the air. They don't clarify whether the guarantee is still one time only as it was before, and even then it may not even matter. Characters being limited means players will be significantly more incentivized to pull for potentials, especially for their favorites. I have spent money on Arknights because dupes don't make a massive difference, so I can build a lot of operators and have more strategies available to me in my roster. If dupes are now much more important all of a sudden, it will have the opposite effect on me. I will be strongly encouraged to spend way, way less, because I don't like seeing such transparent greed. This is not at all what I expect to see from Hypergriff.
Again, we don't even know what the dupes do. Like, I hope we all know this. We don't actually know what the dupes do in the game. And so, once again, that is just a supplementary statement made without even knowing what the details are of the game.
Now let's talk about blueprints.
Just copy and paste, and you're done.
Blueprints are the best feature that they could have possibly added to the game, by the way.
To make this perfectly clear from the outset, this is not about personal blueprints. Being able to copy and paste a production line that you've built is a good feature that I wholeheartedly welcome. The basic starter blueprints are kind of just whatever. I would rather they didn't exist, but they're just basic ones, so it's not a big deal. But by far the biggest point of contention I've seen being discussed about anything related to the entire special program is shareable blueprints for your entire factory. Literally, just copy a share code and paste it in. That's it.
Yeah, that's intended for people that want to play an action RPG game, which Arknights Enfield is heavily advertising itself as, and not spend hours in fucking Factorio. Because they would just quit the fucking game. Because they don't play Arknights Enfield for this shit.
Pretty much all the dismissals I've seen of concerns about this sound something like, people will just use a YouTube guide anyway, what's the difference? The difference is that you have to go and look for a guide and follow it step by step.
Again, like I said before, elitists in this community want to be the ones to tell you that the way that they play the game is the only right way to play the game. And so, if you don't spend tens of hours on your factory like he did, then you're playing the game wrong. Then you're playing the game incorrectly because you're not playing it in the same way that he is. Because Tobero is the arbiter of what's good in a game, of what a good gameplay experience is. And if you're not suffering in the same way that he's suffering, then your playtime is actually fake and not real.
This is you being presented with a button to skip the process of following the guide in the first place and just getting the end result. It's
Yes, because they don't want to engage with the system.
very different. But Factorio and Satisfactory have blueprint. Those games have an upfront cost serving as the barrier to entry, and they are also orders of magnitude larger in scale. Enfield is a free-to-play RPG gacha game with a rather small factory area, and it never encourages you to rebuild it. Or the classic, it doesn't affect your experience. You can still build your own factory. This is just for people who don't want to do the factory stuff.
I wonder what his response to that is. Because yes, he can spend as much fucking time as he wants optimizing his factory, and somebody else using blueprints doesn't impact his gameplay at all. I am excited to see what his take is here.
You have missed the point. A gigantic proportion of players who would otherwise be perfectly willing to build their own factory and enjoy the gameplay they worked so hard to make will now never bother doing so.
And people that do like it will then do it. They can still do it. Again, this is the elitist inside of Tobero assuming, once again, like he assumed that there's going to be all these problems that come out of the game with the adjustment in the banner system. There's going to be all these problems in the game in regards to its dupes, when he has no idea at all. He's just straight up saying that there's going to be less people engaging with the factory system when he doesn't know it yet.
And if only a tiny fraction of players are engaging with a certain part of the game, why the hell would they invest their resources into building on it and developing it further?
Because there are some people that like it, like you fucking freak. And so they're allowing people that do like it to have a fleshed out game to play regarding the factory, and people that don't like it that much don't need to spend that much time on it. Much like how you're probably going to be able to build teams in Enfield that are like low-key AFK teams, right? That can like low-key play the game and the combat for you. And the character that you control doesn't need to press that many buttons, right? They'll probably have like these AFK style teams that come out. Am I going to go out and then immediately say, well, they might as well just delete combat from the game? Holy fuck. What is up? Like, they have these team comps out here where it just plays the combat for you. Might as well just delete it from the game. Again, this is all just about people wanting to play the game in the way that suits their fancy, and that gets them the most out of the time that they're spending. And this guy's over here saying that's wrong, because it's not the way that I want to play it.
The factory and base building obviously won't be phased out entirely, and they will still play a decent role in existing regions, but I'm calling it now, once we go elsewhere, it will be dramatically less important with each new region. I would be delighted to be wrong. I really do mean that. I really would. But plain and simply, what this decision tells me, and no doubt what it tells thousands of others, is that they have no confidence left in the factory mode, because they want as many players as possible at any cost.
Hey guys, the devs went out and the devs say, we simply want players to be able to enjoy what they want in the game. How about we just use some actual examples, Tobero, of what it looks like when a game has features that some people don't like playing, but they still develop them further. You ever heard about Genshin Impact and the fucking Serenity Pot or Genius Invocation TCG? You dipshit. Game modes that a lot of people don't fucking like playing, but then they keep developing them further for the people that do like playing it. Because there are a ton of people that actually like whatever the fuck goes on in the teapot. There's a lot of people that like whatever goes on in Genius Invocation TCG. And there are a shit ton of people that fucking hate the shit out of all those game modes. But for some reason, they still keep getting developed. Because guess what? There are some people that play Genshin and spend money on Genshin because of the teapot, because of Genius Invocation TCG. And similarly, there are going to be some people that really like the factory, like you, that might actually think that the combat is the second most appealing thing, and the factory is the most appealing thing. And so, probably, they will still keep developing this part of the game, even if there's some people that don't like it, much like how there are tons of parts of other games that get developed, even if a good portion of the community doesn't like it, just because there is a die-hard part of the fan base that really does. It's just, there are literally so many examples that you can use. And the funniest part is that this guy loves using Genshin, Wuwa, these other games as reasons for why Enfield is getting fucked over.
Oh, they're just making the game too much like Genshin. Oh, they're just making the game too much like Wuthering Waves with that dodge button. Oh, it's awful. It's terrible.
But then why can't we think about the game like Genshin now? Oh, right. We only want to use that line of reasoning when it suits our argument. Because we can just use the Genshin Impact example as a counterpoint to all the bullshit that he's saying.
The kind of player to whom absolutely nothing matters except making everything more convenient. If I am given no reason whatsoever to think Hypergriff has any confidence in the factory mode, why the fuck should I have any confidence in it either?
Hey guys, them adding blueprints means that they have no confidence in the mode. That is the leap in logic that has been performed, ladies and gentlemen. Hypergriff added blueprints, and so they must mean that the game mode is going to be fucking useless, and that they have no hope in it.
Letting players forgo the factory mode entirely with a share code is not an amplifier of creativity and productivity. Come the fuck on, guys. At least have some respect for the people you're talking to. Absolutely everyone sees right through this. And then
the sooner the Enfield, I think the Enfield developers have already abandoned this part of the community. But if they haven't yet, the sooner that they do it, the better this game is going to do. Straight up, just take everything that this guy is saying and just fucking ignore it and do the opposite.
That's all followed up with, the goal is to let more administrators fall in love with what makes this experience special, the joy of building with your own hands. This is monumentally short-sighted. Hypergriff, you have shot yourselves in both feet, just as you are about to start running a marathon. You have allowed your game to be lobotomized by Philistines.
Guys, they added blueprints to the factory. They added blueprints to the factory. And we have just used the terminology lobotomized by Philistines. Because they added blueprints to the fucking factory. What is wrong with this guy?
People who do not even slightly give a shit about your art. People who will abandon you in droves the moment a shinier distraction appears are celebrating your decisions.
Guys, if you wanted blueprints in the factory, you're all of those things that he just said. Let's actually play them back real fast.
Shit about your art. People who will abandon start running a marathon. You have allowed your game to be lobotomized by Philistines.
So, this is what you are if you wanted blueprints in the factory.
People who do not even slightly give a shit about your art.
You hate all the art in the game. Oh, sorry, you don't give a fuck about the visual design of the game. Yeah, the characters, all of that, you don't care about anything because you wanted blueprints in the factory.
People who will abandon you in droves.
We are people that have low commitment to any sort of game because we don't like a feature. We don't like spending time on a feature that we don't want to play.
The moment a shiny distraction appears, are
we have low attention span. Probably have ADHD. That's what he's implying here.
Celebrating your decisions. But hey, devs listened. That's all that fucking matters, right?
And this guy is just really upset that the developers didn't listen to him specifically. The developers did listen to a majority of the feedback that they were receiving from a majority of the beta test players. And because they didn't listen to this guy, he is so fucking butthurt, it's unbelievable.
Devs listening to the most asinine, illiterate demographic on Earth?
Hey guys, if you don't think like Tobero does, you are an asinine, illiterate demographic. If you don't think exactly the way that he does, I'm not gonna lie. It's just, he's not doing himself any favors by talking so big while looking like that. I'm just gonna be real with you there. I had to comment on it at least one time. That's a massive forehead. That is big. Oh my god.
The kind of people who will actively try to turn your game into the shit that lazy parents put on an iPad in front of their drooling toddler.
This is all because they added blueprints, by the way.
Anyway, everything else was really cool. I enjoyed like at least 95% of that stream. I'm sure the rest of the game will be really fun. Hope I get into the beta. See you all on the 3rd of November.
This guy is one of the biggest PR disasters I've ever seen for a game before. And I'm just going to be honest. The fact that he has enough pull to get this many viewers while talking so much absolute fucking nonsense and having the most constrained, bullheaded, absurd viewpoints on gaming and enjoyment and development and like all of that is just one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. And that's why I say he's an accurate reflection. He's an accurate reflection of the Arknights elitist player base because there's actually a lot of fucking people here. There's a lot of them. And while they're all pretty much like too autistic to like make their own videos or make their own takes, I guess he isn't. But the thing is that you can clearly see there is something deeply wrong with this part of the fucking community. There is something deeply fucking wrong. And again, like I said before, the faster that Hypergriff is basically able to wipe their ass with this part of the community and just like move forward and pretend they never existed and they never said anything, I'm going to be honest, the better Enfield is going to do. Because this is kind of just like, this part of the community is like a piece of like shit that's like on the heel of your foot. And it's like, you had like gum on your foot and then you stepped in dog shit and now it's like really fucking hard to get off. It's like glued in there. And like they need to take the time to like get the tweezers, get like the scraper or something and just wipe these motherfuckers off. Because holy shit, I can't even believe there's a video like this out there with these many bold claims being made about the general community at large because they decided to add blueprints to the fucking game. Wow. And this like ratio, that alone should let you know how potentially cooked this game is going to be on like the internet moving forward. Because this is what you're going to have to deal with as a normal player. These fucking freaks. Because I don't really know how else to describe them. These guys are legitimately freaks. And it's kind of crazy. That's going to be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's always amazing to see a Tobero video on my feed or to have it linked to me because I already know I'm going to be in for one of the most wild goddamn adventures ever. And we did not get disappointed this time. That'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.